The Success in South Florida podcast is brought to you by the team at Rawson Law Firm. If you need DUI or criminal defense representation, call the Rawson Law Firm at 754-206-6200 or check the description of today's episode for more contact information. The Rawson Law Firm, helping good people when bad things happen so they can achieve their best futures.
Welcome to Success in South Florida, featuring interviews with entrepreneurs, leaders, and other movers and shakers across South Florida to find out how they're doing their part to enhance the local community. Your host is Adam Rawson, the founder and CEO of the Rawson Law Firm. Adam's an award-winning attorney, former prosecutor, and a lifelong South Florida resident. He became an attorney because he believes in helping those in need and in crafting lifelong relationships in the community. This podcast is an extension of that mission. Let's get to today's interview. Here's Adam Rawson.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Success in South Florida podcast. I'm your host, Adam Rawson, and on today's show, we have an amazing treat for everybody. We have Brandon Inniss, who is one of the absolute biggest and best high school football recruits. He is going to be entering his freshman year at The Ohio State University. He's a consensus, 5-star guy, number one receiver in the country, Florida Gatorade Player of the Year. He won a state championship at American Heritage, where I had the privilege to coach high school basketball for 4 years and win a state championship myself. And upon accolade after accolade, and he's getting ready to literally go to Columbus, Ohio, in about a day or two. And so, Brandon,
Yes,
first of all, I want to say thank you very much for being here and just, giving us time to really talk to our audience about being successful and, in South Florida, especially as an 18-year-old. So, Brandon, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, of course. So let's talk a little bit about that, right? So here we are. When are you leaving to go to Ohio State?
I leave Saturday, May 6th.
Okay. All right. So, one chapter closes and another one begins.
Yes, sir.
And definitely want to talk to you about Ohio State and college and all that. But before we do, I really want to get to know you and just how did you grow up in South Florida and being a talented athlete and talented football player at a pretty young age? Walk us through that.
So I grew up with my mom, my dad, my sister. My brother was here for a little bit. I mean, I was just like a regular kid until I think around 7 years old is when I started playing football. How I started playing football, actually, I was on the beach in South Florida. I was just running around and stuff like that. And the coach that was at PBO, Pembroke Pines Optimist, came up to my mom and suggested I played football. And then he was just complimenting me. I looked so big for my age and stuff like this. So I played ever since, and I fell in love with the game. But growing up, I was like a normal kid running around neighborhoods, stuff like that, just having fun, being a normal kid,
Right. And just kind of be like, hey, maybe I'm fast, maybe I'm big, maybe there's some, and of course at that age, just love of the game and having fun, right? Having fun with your friends.
Exactly.
So at what age did football start to become serious for you?
I would probably say around probably 12 years old, maybe 11, 12 years old. That's when I knew I could really do something with this sport. I mean, I always loved football, ever since I was a baby. But then once I started playing for fun and stuff like that, it started to get serious towards the end of my little league career and whatnot. And then once I got in high school, I knew offers started coming in. I started really coming in, being dialed in and stuff like that.
So 6th, 7th grade, being like, hey, man, this might actually be something. And 8th, 9th, right? Did you play high school football in middle school?
Well, yeah. I played at Nova Southeast University School, which is called U School down here. And they have an 8th, if you are in 8th grade and you're good enough, you could play with the varsity team because it's all one school. So I played varsity in 8th grade, and a lot of people didn't expect me to play, but I actually started. And now I play with Zay Flowers, who just got drafted this past week, and Kenny McIntosh. They both just got drafted. So, I mean, it's coming in as 8th grade. That really set my mindset, and now seeing them do that is fun.
Right. So you were that youngin who was there with the big kids, and but now when you're 14 and you're in eighth
Mhm.
grade playing on a good team,
Mhm.
right, with the old kids, what was your mentality? Was it just to fit in, or was it, hey, I want to actually like make a name for myself?
Definitely make a name for myself. I mean, like I said, everybody,
At
people,
14?
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I knew how good I was coming out of Little League. I mean, people was already calling me the top receiver in the nation and things like that. But I knew like if I push myself to be the best now, like by the time I'm a senior in high school, there's nobody gonna be messing with me. So I really took my job seriously. I mean, if it was just like being a second receiver for Zay and just doing my job and just really like taking it serious, I knew I'll be something special.
Okay. One of the things that I love about sports, right? I mean, I was a decent basketball player, good, just maybe I could have played D3 somewhere, but I decided to go to UF and be a regular kid and play on the fraternity team and intramurals and have fun. But I got into coaching in my second year of law school. So I was 23 and said, I got to get into coaching because I was always a smart player and kind of coach on the floor. Just I'm 6'2". If I was 6'5", maybe, and a little bit of a better athlete, things might have been different, right? But the things that I learned, it was all about sacrifice and hard work and
Yeah,
really having that business, like approach to things.
yeah,
So, but it's hard, 14, 15, 16. You're 18 right now, right? And so I mean, still 18's young. You'll see. So how did you learn to really take that, business-like approach and work hard and sacrifice things to get to your goals?
I mean, I think it's the guys that I surrounded myself with. I've always been around older guys that had the mindset of being great, and when they have that mindset, it like trickled down to me in a sense, to where I want to be great as well. So I work. You always hear like the dogs gonna work with the dogs, and dogs gonna be dogs with each other and stuff like that. I think that's actually is real. So I mean, I don't know. I just had the mindset for it.
So when you were dealing with, and being around those people, are you talking coaches? Are you talking older players? Are you talking family? Right? Who are you talking about specifically?
I mean, I'm talking about like even got Zay Flowers, Kenny McIntosh. I mean, I work out with guys like Dalvin Cook in the off season. I mean, there's a whole bunch of guys in South Florida that you'll like come cross paths with that your trainer has coached. I
Yep.
mean, Goldfeet Global, TA. I mean, a whole bunch of guys go to him from down here. Jamar Chase even goes to him. Like guys from all over the place. So I get knowledge from them guys and stuff like that. I see what they're doing, and I know I can do the same. And now at Ohio State with Marvin Harrison and the Mecca, I mean, sure, I'm gonna just keep learning and it keep getting better.
Okay. Right. Now, let's take it back though a few years, right? Let's say being 15 and 16 and you're getting offers and you're good and you have your eye on the prize, but there's also there's always that, bad influence here or there or temptation or just, hey Brandon, let's go do this or let's go do that. You ain't got to work out today. Sleep in, right? Let's go out late then, and you can take tomorrow off. So how do you kind of say no to that or take that noise out when you are so focused on your goal?
Well, you just said that then focus. I mean, you really have to have that mindset to where things like that can wait. I mean, you could also like balance your life as a kid as well. You can go have fun and stuff like that. But if you really know what you want to do and you can't do certain stuff to reach that end goal and you want to be great, you sacrifice certain things like going out late and stuff like that. I mean, there are days your friends are going to go out and you can't go out because you have a workout at 8 o'clock in the morning or something like that, which has happened multiple times. And it is what it is. But I have to do what I got to do to be great and reach my end goal.
Perfect, perfect. And now, do you think you'd be in the same place today if you didn't have that group of mentors around you?
No, definitely. I mean, they helped me so much for these like past like I would say like 5 years. I mean, just like learning from them and seeing how they work, it just makes me want to work even harder. And knowing they made it in the first round and stuff like that. I mean, I know I could do it, so it just pushes me even harder.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I completely agree. And I think that's great. Now, when you're now, right, you're at Heritage. You were the old guy this year, right? What are you doing to mentor the 8th, 9th, 10th graders, right, who want to be like you?
I mean, it's even stuff I do right now. I'm done Heritage already. I'm about to go to college, but the past 2 days they have spring practice, and I'm out there coaching the receivers, helping the receivers out, stuff like that. Malachi Tony, which y'all here in a couple of years will probably be the top receiver in 2026. I mean, I'm helping them out. Any tips I can give them to be better, and they know what I've been through in college. They know my resume and stuff like that, so they kind of want to follow the same path. And so anything I can do to help them. Even during the season last year, I was a coach on the field. And I told them if they don't know a play or they need like help, like reading coverages and anything they need, they can ask me because I've seen the game for so long now. And I mean, I feel like just to be a mentor for them, I feel like it kind of takes me back some years to where Zay was a mentor for me, and now I'm a mentor for them. So it's going to keep on going. That's what I want.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I got into coaching myself. Coaching basketball was one of the best decisions I ever did. And even in our law firm, we're able to coach and mentor people. I think this summer we're taking on 7 or 8 interns. During COVID, we took on 13 because everybody lost their job or their internship, high school, college, and law school students. And I said, all right, well, we'll take them. Especially I believe in, if you want to be a community leader, you got to lead by example and be that mentor and kind of pay it back. So that's what we did. And, just one example, but even for our clients, I can tell you, Brandon, a lot of our clients are going through some stuff, right? And sometimes they just, they don't think they're going to cry on their lawyer's shoulders, but they do, right? And we're the ones kind of being that mentor and that good example. So I think it's in not just sports. Obviously, we have the sports connection, but anybody listening to this, it could be in any facet of life. And one of the things that I love about sports, which I'm sure you probably heard, is that sports is a microcosm for life, right? The same things, the struggles, the hard work, the discipline, everything, the ups and downs. Yeah, that's just life. Exactly. So I think that's one of the reasons people love sports, competition and winning and right and teamwork. But it's also just like it's the lessons and it's the same thing with life, just in a more fun way because you're throwing or shooting or kicking a ball usually. Yeah. So that's great. So what advice do you have for people who, it doesn't have to be young, it could be young, old, anybody, but just some of the lessons that you've learned about being a top athlete, right? And you're still, everything you've accomplished today is going to, pale in comparison to what you do over the next, 5-10 years. But what advice do you have for people? Just, that things that you've learned in your young life.
You can do anything you set your mind to. And I learned that early age because people told me I couldn't start as an 8th grader on a varsity team like that. And I wasn't going to get offers and so young and stuff like that. You could do anything you set your mind to as long as you have that work ethic that you want to be great or you want to be great at whatever you're doing. If it's sports or the business side of things and stuff like that, that's one thing. And then another thing I would say is, never give up. Like there's times it's going to be hard and stuff like that, but that's what makes it so good. You fell in love with the grind because it's hard, and the end goal you're going to reach is going to feel so amazing. You're going to think back like the hard times was worth it. So I would say those 2 things.
Love it. I absolutely love it, Brandon. So what I want to do now is we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back, and I want to go into Ohio State and South Florida Express and NIL and really some of all those other things, kind of about you and who you are and what you have coming up on the future. All right. So we'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
When something bad happens, who do you turn to? In South Florida, the answer is the Rawson Law Firm, criminal and DUI defense for when bad things happen to good people. The Rawson Law Firm is a team of 6 award-winning criminal defense attorneys, including 2 board-certified criminal trial experts. They also have federal and white-collar divisions in the practice. Every day, the team's mission is simple: to help when bad things happen to good people so they can achieve their best future. To learn more about the team and how they can help you, connect on Facebook and Instagram at Rawson Law Firm. You'll also find helpful and entertaining videos on Rossin Law Firm YouTube channel. Just check this episode's description for all the ways you can connect.
All right, and we're back on Success in South Florida with Brandon Inniss. So, Brandon, now I want to pivot a little bit, and I want to talk about South Florida Express. So, South Florida Express is the, I believe, two-time defending national champions for 7-on-7 football. And when I was, coaching at Heritage, 7-on-7 was just getting started. In the basketball realm, it's AAU all day. And now 7-on-7 has taken this life of its own where it's kind of AAU version for football. So how did you get involved with South Florida Express?
I think it was before. Yeah, so before my 8th grade year, I was in 7th grade. And after my tackle season, I had a coach that suggested I play 7-on-7, which I didn't really know what it was either. And then they went out to the tryout. I mean, I was doing good with the people my age, and they moved me up. So I was a 7th grader, and I was playing 15U. So 15 years old is sophomores, freshmen, sophomores, whatever
Right.
it is. So I always played up my entire life. So I mean, that's how I started with SFE.
Right. And so they're, the premier program in the entire country. They're, I think, one of the first or, maybe the first program. So what was it about them that kept you there all these years? Because, my experience in the AAU world is people jump from team to team to team, sometimes within the season, definitely from year to year. So what was it about them that kind of had you as that homegrown talent that you were there?
I mean, I feel like one, they were just more than just coaches. They're like family aspect now. I mean, Coach Brett, which is the owner and founder of SFE, I mean, he's done so much for me off the field. I mean, I can't thank him enough. Even to this day, he still does think, even though I'm done with SFE. But I feel like the relationships you build with them and the places they take you, I mean, no other 7-on-7 team could compare with them. Coach Ricky, I mean, the GM of SFE, they're all family-like, and I mean, they just want the best for your kid. They're recruiting for you in the off season and stuff like that. You don't see 7-on-7 teams doing that. They get your kids offers and stuff like that. So I just feel like they were loyal to me when they could have brought in other receivers when I was young and stuff like that. But they stuck with me, and then I stuck with them.
Perfect. So it's that relationships, right? And
Exactly.
family. So you consider them family?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And yeah, I think everything that we do as a law firm, everything about sports, it's relationship business. It's people.
Yeah.
So, I think that's really good to hear, the loyalty and the relationship. And do you think going through them and spending a lot of time with them on the road, right? It's a little different, that environment than maybe taking a football trip up to the road for school.
Yeah.
Right. You can probably have a little more fun, but it's also less people. It's not, an entire football team. Yeah. And you don't get, look at high school football, you don't get too many real road trips. Maybe at a school like Heritage, you might get one or two, and then plus like states. Yeah. But for the basketball, we were on the road actually quite a bit. We played in a lot of tournaments. We went across the country, went across the state. So I think for you that 7-on-7 is kind of more like a basketball road trip in a way. Yeah. You got less people and stuff. But yeah, I mean, talk to us about that. Being in hotels, maybe taking a PlayStation with you guys, or just bus, airplane. Having those conversations with coaches 11 o'clock at night, right? Or on a plane, right? Talk to me about kind of those experiences that you had, and really, I guess some of the off-field stuff.
Well, first, I want to say, I feel like I've been to half of the states in the United States. I mean, I've traveled so much in these past 5-6 years, and I mean, I feel like I appreciate them for that. I would never get to see the things I saw in other states, but like you said, when you're in hotels with a team, that also is team bonding. I mean, when you travel with guys like that, they want to play for each other now. They want to play harder, and that's why you always win. But I feel like it's the real world situations and stuff like that they talk to you about. These coaches from SFE talk to you about. I mean, we're young, but their mentor. We look up to them as mentors as well. They've seen so many players come through SFE, and we're not the last of them. So they know what to expect, and they know what to tell us. They know what's right and wrong and stuff like that. So them giving us that knowledge at such a young age is preparing us for so much stuff in life that you don't see from other 7 on 17. They just want to win and have fun like that, but SFE does it bigger.
Right. So they're trying to make, basically turn boys into men and
Exactly.
and be successful, right? I'm sure, look, South Florida, there's no loss of people that you probably know and see and wherever who will tell you how great they were and they never made it because of off the field stuff, right?
Yeah.
Stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And I know, at least with my kids, when I was at Heritage and had very talented players, a lot of my conversations were all about, hey man, like, whether you make it or not, I want you to be 25 and 30 and have a degree and be happy and healthy and have a great family. And obviously, if you make it in the league, that's amazing. But just that's not the be all end all. You could also have a very successful life and career without making professional sports, or you could be the bum on the street who was telling everybody how good they were and blaming other people for things that happen. So did they have those kind of conversations with you guys too?
All the time. I mean, I don't think there's like trips and bus rides and airplane where we're sitting in the airport that they don't talk about that stuff because it's real. I mean, they see it all the time. So
yeah, man. And I think that's the importance of having mentors too, of just having that older guy or girl to be like, hey man, here's where the quicksand is. Here's how you avoid it,
Yeah.
And doing it out of a place of love, not out of a place of, right, trying to take advantage of a young person or their family, doing it out of love, right? That's important.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. Now let's talk to me a little bit. What do you think? What do you think SFE is going to do here in the national championships coming up in June? Have you been around those guys?
Yeah. I mean, I'm always around them. I mean, they had their ups and downs this season, but they lost a lot of players from last year. But I mean, I believe in them. They're the best in the world. They can get it done. I think it's in June is the national championship. I think.
Right. Yeah, coming up.
Yeah. So I think they can get it done and just bring another trophy back home to South Florida.
You're gonna be. I know you probably can't be there, but you're gonna follow them on social and talk to
Oh
everybody.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good. So now let's talk. Let's transition into Ohio State and the recruiting process. So when did things get real hot and heavy for you with recruiting? Where it's. I mean, I'm sure you got letters and some serious interest as a freshman and sophomore, but when things are like, all right, I'm getting down my 10, my 5, and going on official visits. What was that like, and when did that happen for you?
I mean, shoot, mine started early. I got my first offer in 7th grade, going into 8th grade. I had 15 offers at the end of my 8th grade year, and then at the end of my freshman year, I had like 29. And then, but I would say it got like hot, probably after my sophomore season.
Okay.
Once around like September 1st, when all the colleges and schools could start texting you and stuff like that. I mean, I had to turn my phone off that night because it meant as soon as 12 o'clock hit, every coach in America contacted me, texting me, calling me, or texting me, I'll call you tomorrow. I know it's late, things like that. And then the next day, I just remember I was in school and my phone kept going off. My teacher was like, hey, Brandon, who was that? And they were like making jokes like, oh, you have all these girls and stuff like that. I was like, no, that's coaches and stuff like that for school. But yeah, I mean, the mail that comes here is like, I finally got rid of all of it, but it's so much they could like fill up a bathtub. But I feel like that's probably when it started for me.
Yeah. Okay. And then what about, going on official visits or even unofficial visits, right? So did you narrow down to a top 5?
Yeah. So I've been to a lot of schools, unofficial and official. I only went on 2 official because I've been to so many schools. So I took an official to Alabama and Ohio State. And then, I mean, the officials are fun. They're always supposed to be fun and stuff like that. But the unofficials, they're fun as well. I mean, it's not quite like a official visit, but But you see the stuff like on the official visit that they really like show you, they bring out everything for you. I mean, it's nothing like that.
Right. You getting wined and dined, and they're showing
Yeah.
you, kind of everything. So who did it really come down to? Who are the real serious contenders that you had to think about?
Ohio State, Alabama, Miami. That was probably the top three.
Top
That.
three. Okay. So
And then USC was like right on the edge of four just because it was so far. If it was closer, it would have been a closer race, but it's so far away from my mom and stuff like that. So
yeah. I mean, it's not just the flight, but the time zone difference too,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So okay. So really, the real top three. So it's Miami. Now, what did you have a favorite team growing up?
Yeah, my favorite team growing up was FSU.
Okay.
Watching Dalvin Cook, Jalen Ramsey. That was my favorite team.
All right. And FSU didn't make the top three.
They
So
Yeah, no. They made like the
yeah.
top like 7 or something.
Okay. So it's staying home and going to the U, right? Trying to, get back and build, or, the juggernauts, Bama or Ohio State. So
Yep.
walk us through that process.
All right, I'll start off with Miami. So Miami been recruiting me since my 8th grade year. Coach Cooney, he was like probably one of the first coaches I built a real relationship with and stayed in contact with for that long. But Miami, I mean, they never stopped recruiting me. I mean, they always kept pushing, even through the down years when they went 6-6 or 5 or whatever it was. I mean, it was just, I feel like what coach was that? Coach. I don't know. I forget his name, but when he was there, I mean, it just went down from there, and I mean, it was so many things going on with Miami. But then when they hired Coach Cristobal, that's when Miami started shooting up for me and rising in the ranks. And Coach Cristobal was the main recruiter for me for Miami. When the head coach is the main recruiter for you, you know it's something special there. He really needs you and stuff like that. What she was telling me, and I feel like Miami had a whole bunch of good things going on. I have 2 teammates that are at Miami now that are signed to them. I feel like the one thing about Miami is it wasn't quite established yet of their like true identity and what they want to do. Like their offense last year was kind of shaky, and I didn't see myself in the offense. So that's kind of, and the receiver coach, it was like it was like an OC and receiver coach and stuff like that. I really wanted to like have like a true receiving coach and to get me better and to develop me to the best person and player I could be. And I didn't quite feel like that was at Miami.
Okay. So then really it came down to Bama and Ohio State then, right?
Yeah. It was real close. That came down to the end. When I was on my official to Alabama, they were in the lead at that time, I would say. Around that time I mean, they showed me so much things, and I knew when there's a connection from South Florida to Bama to the league, Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Ridley, and all these guys. I mean, they were just telling me Amari Cooper. They were just telling me like you could be the next one. I feel like this is where you'll play, and this is who we want you to play like, and stuff like that. We will develop you to be the best person and player, and know how to save your money and stuff like that. Just everything about Alabama like felt so good.
And they got a good pipeline at Heritage too, right? With the DBs,
exactly.
Yeah. And so and look at the receivers that they've had the last. I mean, Judy and Ridley and those and Amari are some of the old guys now, but look at the last 4 drafts or whatever who it's a factory.
Exactly.
So, okay, so that was really tempting when you're there on that official visit.
Yeah.
And then what happened? What happened with Ohio State?
Well, Ohio State, it was. I mean, Alabama was everything I was looking for, but I feel like they always say you have that feeling when you visit a school, and I would say the last day of my official visit at Ohio State, I knew that's where I wanted to be. Like I've been through everything so far. I've already visited them, but that last day when I was in the meetings and like really around the players, and they take me under the wing like I'm one of their teammates already. I just see how the family environment's there, and then you have Coach Hartline, the greatest receiver coach, probably in college football history.
Yeah.
And
great
and
big time recruiter.
wise, exactly, recruiting wise and coaching wise. And then with their receivers they're putting in to the NFL first round.
Yep.
Even now, I mean, they just had one Jackson last week.
Yep.
And their offense, I feel like I fit into our offense real well. And I feel like them guys in the receiver room gonna push me to be the best I could be.
Yeah, it looks like Coach Hartline always gets his man. So,
Always.
so all right. So now, when you're at the end of that official visit, did you verbally commit, or did you save it for signing day?
So I think my last day there was like a Sunday, I think. And I mean, I woke up that morning and I remember my dad sent me a text message. He was like, "What you think, son?" And I was just responded like, "I think I'm gonna do it." I mean, I feel like it's a place I want to be. So I didn't commit that day, but so you have like exit meetings with the head coach. So I
Right.
was talking to him,
Right.
and then in the meeting, I just felt like, I mean, this time. So then I knew, like in the middle of the meeting, I knew I was going to tell him then, Coach Day. And then at the end of the meeting, I was like, appreciate y'all for recruiting me and things like that. And I'll be committed here, and I can't wait to get here in like a year or two, whatever it was from then.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that time, Carnell Tate committed the Monday. So then Coach Day asked me, he was like, when you think you could commit and stuff like that. And I was like, what about if we do like a back to back type of deal? Because they just had Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave go back to back.
Right.
So I kind of like had like a little image in my head like of us doing that. So then he committed Monday and I committed that Tuesday. So I had to get it edit fast and things like that. So I committed, and ever since then I've been locked in.
Nice, nice. Now, did you and Carnell, were you guys, I know you guys, right, played on SFE together, but before that,
Yeah.
were you guys friends at all, or did you know each other earlier on in the process?
My first time seeing Carnell, we didn't know each other, was at Ohio State camp actually, like my sophomore year. And we were just working out with Coach Hartline like on the side and stuff like that. But we didn't speak there actually. And then we played them the following season, my junior year. He was at IMG and I was at Heritage, and he just kept scoring on us, having long kick returns and long catches and stuff like that. Then after the season, Coach Ricky from SFE texted me like, "Hey, get Carnell for us. We need him," stuff like that. So then ever since I texted him, then we just been building a relationship. And the first tournament in Orlando in 2021, I think that was. I mean, we won the tournament. Nobody can mess with us. So we knew ever since then. It's just we've been locked in.
Nice. And you guys are going to be roommates coming up?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Nice. All right. So what are we talking? Three years? You guys gonna go higher than Olave and Garrett Wilson
Yeah, that's
in the
that's the
draft?
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the plan. We be talking about it, but
All
that's
right.
the plan.
I want to see it. I want to see it. So, and that's good. So, right, the athlete in you, I'm assuming you have goals
Mhm.
and kind of aspirations and a bit of a plan. So, and things can always change, but just talk to us a little bit about, what that is, right? And trying to, take this as a profession.
So I want to be a first round receiver, and that's why I picked Ohio State because I feel like they can develop me the best to get there and the fastest as well. I want to get back to my community. I want to play 10 plus years in the NFL, and I want to be a Hall of Famer. I want to be known as one of the best receivers to ever play the game when it's all said and done. And I just feel like I want to be a motivation to younger kids and stuff like that. That's
That's
kind of,
great. I mean, I think that's what life's all about, setting those
yes, sir.
goals and getting there. But it's not just you, right? It's
Mhm.
about giving back, and it's about what the success that you have, what then you can then pay it forward to others. And I love that you have that already in your mindset now. It's not just, I want this because I want a cool car or a
Mhm.
boat, right?
Yeah.
Or 80,000, hopefully Dolphins fans cheering for me. It's, it's I want to help others because others help me, and I'm inspired
Exactly.
by that. And
Yeah.
again, that's what life's all about. And that's why, how involved is Gino? Is Gino Smith with SFE? I know he was one of the
Oh yeah.
first.
Yeah,
So
Gino, he comes back down here and he'll give us like advice and stuff like that all the time. I mean, just seeing like another guy from SFE that did it, he's starting quarterback with Seattle Seahawks now.
yeah,
I
he
feel
had a
like,
great year this year.
yeah, exactly.
Finally, finally got a real shot on a good
Exactly.
team, and look what he
Yeah,
did.
exactly.
So okay. So that's cool. So Brandon, one of the last things I really want to talk about is NIL. So, it's been still in its infancy, but it's a huge thing, right? The name, image, and likeness with college sports, and I mean, it's obviously changed college sports forever, but it's about time. Right? It's
Yeah.
about time that industry got shaken up, and really people are getting what they deserve and what they're worth.
Hmm.
So, some traditionalists hate it, but I'm all for it, right? Because and it really, and when you combine that with social media, with Instagram, with TikTok, and everything, especially football, when you're behind a helmet a lot, so people don't really get to see your face that
Yeah.
often, like an NBA player or a baseball player.
Yeah.
So, you know, talk to us about kind of learning about that. First of all, how old were you and what grade were you in and through this process when NIL became something for you to actually like figure out?
I think I really started thinking about it in my junior year. That's like, what was that, 2021, I think? Yeah, 2021, 2022. So that year, it was just, I heard about it so much more. And, you see I know so many older guys that's in college football now and in college basketball. I see them getting deals. And that's when I start kind of learning about how NIL actually works and how it helps you other than just making money in a sense. So, yeah.
Okay. And so we don't need to go into some specifics, but do you have some NIL deals in the works for Ohio
Yeah.
State?
Yeah, I have a agent, Drew Rosenhaus, and that their company. So I
Okay.
have
I
I have
heard of him. He's new, right? Yeah, just kidding. Right. Okay. So you got the biggest investor in South Florida, but probably the country. So
so
okay.
yeah, so
And, so that, I mean, so you obviously made a smart choice on that.
so
Okay.
yeah, they bring me some deals. I mean, every now since you can actually start making in Florida, you can start making deals and money and stuff like that after you're done with high school sports. So once I signed with them, they started sending me some deals and people that are looking at me and stuff like that. And they have a real strong connection in Columbus actually because Coach Hartline was one of their clients. They have Julian Fleming and they had Chris Olave. So they know a whole bunch of guys up there and a whole bunch of people as well. So I feel like I picked the right people to go with.
Nice. Now, are you going to be selective with the deals that you choose, or are you just going to kind of take what comes in?
Yeah, I'll definitely be selective because every deal is not a good deal, even though it'll be a good amount of money. You really have to like look to the background, I guess I would say, of like who the people are in the deal because they have not a good reputation and you're like your name is attached to their name. And once you get to the NFL, NFL people they do their homework so much that if your name is attached to their name, then they your draft stock can go down and things like that. So it's so much things that go on just looking at the deals and finding the right deals and not just taking every deal. So I'll definitely be selective.
So is that intimidating to you at all? I mean, because this is a business and this is a big business. So,
Yeah.
right. So how are you dealing with that?
I mean, I feel like I have the best agents in the world. They know what they're talking about. Like we just said, they've been doing it for so long. They have so many clients around college football, so we all they kind of see and know probably everybody already that's good and that's bad, and they'll send me a deal that company wants for me, then they'll like give me feedback and I'll ask them like, do you think this is a good deal? Why or why not? And give me the pros and cons. And then once I see that, then I'll make my decision if I'll take the deal or not.
Okay, good. Yeah, one thing I'm a big believer in is always ask why.
Yeah,
Why? And if they can't explain it to you, right, then, or
yeah,
how or why, it's not just what's the deal, it's, how, right? How
yeah.
and why. Those are always the big ones. And so is reputation important to you?
Yeah, reputation is I mean it's important to me definitely. I feel like your reputation, I mean, it's like your face basically. Like everybody knows. Like for me, for an example, like reputation is I'm a good football player and stuff like that, and I love to coach kids now around Heritage, and I'll stop take pictures and stuff like that. So when you have a good reputation, I mean, there's so much things that can go good for you, and then so I always like say like you never know who you're gonna run into, so keep your reputation good.
Yeah, Absolutely. And do you feel any pressure to not make mistakes? I'm not talking about on the football field, but I'm just talking about on social media or who you hang out with and stuff like that. Has that been a part of your recent life or what you're preparing to do in Columbus? Or you just kind of go with the flow and, just chill?
Yeah, I'm not a guy that likes to go out a lot actually, but I know there's always, like I said, like people know people. So if you're hanging around the wrong crowd, then people know who I am down here, so they'll see me and then it'll spark rumors and stuff like that. So I mean, I'll definitely be selective who I hang out with and stuff like that. So I feel like there is kind of like I have to know and be careful what I'm doing and around like what I'm doing, whatever it is, whatever the case may be. If it's going out to this party and there's other guys there and like that are not like good people in a sense, then
Right.
I have to be smart and stuff like that.
Or send out that mean tweet, right? One day
Yeah,
or
yeah. Or even
something.
social media. I mean, social media is so big nowadays. One little tweet can just
Right. Well, it's like you see oh man, for the Lakers, Austin Reeves, they were going back and finding his tweets from like 10, 15 years ago talking bad about LeBron and
yeah,
the Lakers, right? Or no, talking bad about LeBron and because
yeah.
he was a Laker fan and now he's with
Uh-huh.
LeBron and they were posting
Yeah,
that. Obviously that's a funny one, but
yeah.
it could always be much worse. There's always those draft day stories and stuff like
Hmm.
that happen that can really hurt people.
Yeah.
So, all right, Brandon, as we finish this up, what do you want people to know about you? Maybe somebody who's not a huge sports fan, but listens to our podcast just for, again, motivational stories, talking about future success, character, and especially in the local South Florida community. So what do you, people that maybe don't know you, what do they need to know about you?
I'm a guy that loves to learn, but also loves to give knowledge to other people of what I already know. I love to soak up as much knowledge as possible. One, and then two, I love to give back. I mean, any chance I can. I mean, if it's just coaching kids or helping, some of my teammates out and stuff like that. I mean, I feel like if when you do good things, it comes back around. So I'm a big believer in that, and I'm an extremely hard worker. That's probably the three things.
Love it. Absolutely love it. And I think look, that shows through and through just from this conversation. And as more people even get to know you, the person, the human being, not just the football player, right? A lot more you than just on the pads and the helmet,
Yeah, yeah,
right? You're a person, you're a human being. And the more they get to know you, I'm sure they're going to love you and cheer for you, and root for you. And maybe even today on this, you got a few more people to root for the Buckeyes because they're going to root for you.
yes, sir.
So that's great. Thank you so much for being on our show. I really appreciate the time that you took out, especially the fact that you're going to Columbus just in a few days and really going hard in summer and everything. Because I know you're going to get some PT. I know you're going to be fighting for that spot on the field.
Exactly.
And we're going to be cheering for you. Do you have your number yet?
It's still in the works, but either number one or
Okay.
number 11. One or 11.
Those are great numbers. As me being a Gator fan, everybody wants that number one.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, Brandon,
All right.
again, thank you very much. I had a great time, and hey, maybe in a few years we'll have you come on back.
Definitely
Talk
appreciate
about
you,
the next
John.
big thing. Yeah, of course.